and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a tutorial using the new Urban Decay Naked Heat palette. So when I first saw the pictures on Instagram of this new Urban Decay Heat palette, I knew I had to get it immediately. They just like dropped it out of nowhere. No one saw this coming, but they released such a beautiful warm toned palette. Look at it. This is like a warm tone lover's dream. At first I thought I would skip this, that I didn't really need it because I already have so many warm tone palettes, but then I swatched it in Sephora and it looked so beautiful, so I decided to get it anyways. This palette retails for $54 US. I think once it hits the stores in Europe it will be around the €50 mark, and I also read that it will be available in Europe more towards the end of August. So if you're interested in this and you live in Europe, then just hold on because it will almost hit the stores. There was a lot of controversy surrounding this palette, but in my opinion it is a beautiful palette. All these shades in here are just absolutely stunning, and if you love warm tones, this is just a palette that you need in your life. It also came with a dual-ended brush, which I used one side of in today's video. So yeah, before we go ahead and get on into the tutorial, if you're not already, then please hit that subscribe button down below, and if you want to get notified for future videos, you can also hit the notification bell, which is right next to it. Also, I revamped my beauty blog, which is now under Blaise Beauty, so definitely check that out. I will link it down below as well because I love how it turned out. Yeah, I cannot wait to post more reviews. So yeah, without further ado, if you want to know how to get this look using the Urban Decay Naked Heat palette, then definitely just keep on watching. Okay, so jumping right into this tutorial, I already applied my eyebrows. Of course, I use my Colourpop brow color in the shade Taupe as I always do. And then to set my brows in place, of course, I also went in with my Essence Make Me Brow. And then I am also already wearing my eyeshadow primer just to speed up the process. And today I use my Urban Decay eyeshadow primer potion in Sin. And to set that, I used a little bit of my Wet n Wild pressed powder. So then moving on to eyeshadow, the fun part of this video. I am of course using my Urban Decay Naked Heat palette. I love the packaging of this. So this is what it looks like on the inside right here. I love all of these shades, they're all super pretty. And I think I'm also going to use the brush that came with this palette. It is a dual-ended brush, and I think this will be amazing to blend out in the crease, so I am definitely going to use this as well. So the first shade I'm going to use is this one right here, which is called Chaser, and I'm going to apply this as my transition shade. Okay, this brush is not fluffy enough for a transition shade. It is good, but I need a fluffier brush for my transition. So I'm going to use my Sigma Taper blending brush. This is the E35. I've used this palette once before, so this is the second time I'm using it. And I must say that the shades blend really easily. I was actually quite surprised at how pigmented everything was. And I also had barely any fallout, which is really surprising for Urban Decay eyeshadows. So I personally think this is one of their best palettes ever. I absolutely love it. So I am just building this up until I'm happy with how it is looking. Alright, then next I'm going to use a mixture of Sauced and Low Blow, which is these two right here. I'm just going to mix them and apply them a little bit more below that transition shade. And for this I'm going to use my Eline blending brush, which is a German brand. And I'm going to focus this a little bit lower than that transition shade. I am also going for more of a rounded look, so I am focusing this from inner to outer part. It's delicious. And then to darken it up even more, I'm using this shade right here, which is called He Devil. And for this I'm going to use the Urban Decay brush that came with the palette. And what I'm going to do now is go back in with my Eline brush without any additional product and just blend everything together so that it is nice and seamless, and just make sure that there are no harsh transitions. I'm also going to add a little bit more of my transition shade, just like right here. And to darken up the look even more, I'm going to use this shade, which is called En Fuego. And to apply this, I am going to use a more precise brush. This is the Zoeva 230 Luxe Pencil brush. Okay, so this is what the crease is looking like right now. Then it is time to apply the lid shade. As you can see, we have a lot of blank space right here, which is where we're going to apply the lid shade. But before doing that, I'm going to apply a little bit of my NYX Glitter Primer just to make sure that it has a nice tacky base to stick to. And then for my lid shade, I'm going in with this shade right here, which is called Lumber. To apply this, I'm going to use a very dense tapered brush. This one is by Colourpop. I am also going to apply a little bit of the Urban Decay All Nighter Setting Spray so that it looks even more intense. And then to darken up the outer V, I'm going to apply a little bit of this shade right here, which is called Ashes. I am going to use the same Zoeva pencil brush to apply this. Alright, so now that the eyes are almost finished, before finishing off my lower lash line, I am going to finish off my face. So I'm going to start off by applying my NYX Angel Veil Primer. Also, don't worry if you got a little bit messy on the outer parts because you can always clean it up with concealer. For foundation today, I am going to use my Tarte Clay Stick Foundation, and again, I am in the shade Light Medium Neutral. I love this foundation, but I definitely think I am running out already, which is really fast because I only have it for like 1 or 2 months. This foundation you definitely want to build up because otherwise it has a very natural finish, which is okay if you like a natural finish, but I prefer a more full coverage finish, especially when I'm filming. To buff this into my skin, I'm going to use my IT Cosmetics buffing brush. Adding a little bit more on my problem areas, and then I'm going to blend it out using my beauty blender so that it absorbs all the excess product. Then it's time to move on to concealer. Today I'm using my Becca Aqua Luminous Perfecting Concealer, and I am in the shade Fair. I love this concealer. I featured it in my June favorites, which means I really love it. So I'm applying this on my under eye bags and also any blemishes that I have. And again, using my beauty blender to blend this into my skin. To set my concealer, I'm going to use my RCMA translucent powder. And to apply this, I'm using my e.l.f. small tapered brush.
It's delicious.
Alright, to set the rest of my face, I'm using my Wet n Wild pressed powder, and this is in the shade Warm Light. And with this, I'm using my All Over powder by IT Cosmetics, which is again one of my favorite brushes ever. And I'm just going to press this into my skin. Then I am going to bake my laugh lines, my chin, and also right next to my nose, just in case I am going to wear sunglasses so that my foundation doesn't rub off that fast. And I am using my same RCMA powder to do this. Moving on to bronzer, today I'm going to use my Tarte Park Ave Princess bronzer, which looks like this. I got this in my Ipsy Glam bag and I really love it, so I'm going to use it today. For contour, I'm going in with my Too Faced Chocolate Soleil Medium Deep Matte Bronzer. This is just a little sample size, but I really love this, so I'm going to use this. And with this, I'm using my Sephora Pro Mini Flawless Airbrush brush, which I got for free when I reached VIB Rouge, which means I spent way too much money at Sephora. But yeah, I'm just going to pack this on right here. And also a little bit on my temples and jawline. For blush, I'm using my Milani Powder blush in the shade Romantic Rose. And I'm going to apply this with a Zoeva Luxe Sheer Cheek brush, which I always use. Moving on to highlight, I'm using one of my favorite ones lately, which is the Too Faced Prismatic highlight in the shade Blinded by the Light, which looks like this. I have been using it non-stop and it just looks stunning and goes with every makeup look, so I am going to use it today again. To apply this, I'm using a Morphe 501 brush, M501, and I am just going to pack this on and build it up until I look like a disco ball. I also just realized that I forgot to highlight my brow bone, so I'm going to do that real quickly before I forget. And for this, I'm using the first shade in the palette, which is called Ounce, and it is this one right here. It is just like a bone color, but it has a subtle sheen to it. So I am going to apply this on my brow bone. Apparently a little bit too much, but that's okay. And then I'm also going to apply my Too Faced highlighter on the inner corners. Then I am going to brush off all of the excess powder. And then I am going to fix my makeup with the Urban Decay All Nighter Makeup Setting Spray. Alright, so then moving on, I'm going to finish off my eyes. So starting off, I'm going to apply the shade En Fuego, which is this one right here, and pack it on the lower lash line. And then I am going to blend it out using the shade He Devil, this one right here. Like so. Then I am going to apply some false lashes. I'm going to apply the Kiss 11 false lashes. I'm going to do that off camera because I suck at it, and I will be right back. Alright, so whilst I applied my false lashes, I also applied my mascara. And then I'm going to apply my Colourpop Creme Gel Liner in the shade Honeydew, which is basically just a nude. And I am going to apply this in my waterline. And applying some clear ABH brow gel on my eyebrows to make sure that they're going to last all day long and all night long, because I am going to wear this makeup tonight as well. And moving on to the last step, which is the lips. I'm going to apply my Kylie liquid lipstick in the shade Exposed. Because it is a more warm toned liquid lipstick, I think it's going to complement the warm eyes beautifully. Alright, and that was actually the last step of this makeup tutorial. I adore how this look came out. I love warm tones, so this is just a palette that is right up my alley. The quality is really amazing. The eyeshadows blend out beautifully. The shimmers could have a little bit more punch to them, if that makes any sense. But I do think they look pretty, and I didn't have any fallout whatsoever, so that is a good thing. So that was it for today's video. I really hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed this look. And let me know in the comments down below if you have this palette or if you plan on getting it. If you like this look and if you like this tutorial, then definitely give it a thumbs up. Also, if you're not already, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I really hope I will see you all in my next video. Mwah.